we have 330 million people here and we have 400 million guns, and we're not getting rid of them. We're not doing what Canada just did today and said we're going to have an assault weapons ban. Kamala Harris said she wants one. It's not happening. And I love it because they said, well, Congress won't do anything. Well, you guys control Congress. We have a Democratic president. We have a Democratic House. We have a Democratic Senate. So don't make it sound like, oh, this inactive Congress. Like, your party does not have the will to do this because it's unpopular, because guns are very popular in America. And I knew you as a native Brit don't get that. I mean,
well,
I'm from upstate New York.
I can get that. I understand that. But what it means is that America is the only country that will massacre its own children on a regular basis. And America has to own that. If it wants to own the Second Amendment, it has to own the massacre of children as a particularly American phenomenon. And I just think if that's what we're going to say, that's what we have to be. That's how we have to understand ourselves and our country. I'm an American citizen.
Yeah.
I understand that being an American means to live in a country where children will be massacred on a regular basis.
Well, listen, I find this deeply alarming too, but there have been massive shootings of children overseas in other countries, perhaps not as regularly as we see here. And it's a problem we have to take a hard look at. But the thing is, we have a huge country. Our country's way bigger than virtually all the other countries in which this has happened, or where we look to sort of see what's happening there. 330 million people are not easy to control, and we have lunacy, and we have red flags that we ignore. And I mean, both in connection with the selling of guns and just in connection with policing ourselves, like being a concerned citizen and calling up the authorities and saying, hey, this guy's a problem. Like we saw with the Buffalo shooter. He tortured a cat to death. I mean, animal torture is always a precursor. You can take it to the bank. Anyway. Well,
I mean, I think one of the things I would say is that I have been persuaded these red flag laws, partly because of David French's passionate support for them, seem like at least one way forward to try and catch psychopaths or just deeply troubled young men from doing this. And it's mainly young men. The other thing that's behind this, and if you look at this kid's past, no father.
Yep.
If you no present father, and you will find through all these cases and through a lot of not just mass murders, but regular shootings, which happen every day, that it's young men without fathers that are doing this. And at some level, we have to also get to the deeper cultural issues here, which is that men and boys need dads. They really do. And some male role model to teach them what it is to be a man, which is not using an AR-15. It's not using one and only using something out of defense to protect your family or your children or your neighborhood. And there is a different kind of masculinity than this kind of macho warrior ethic. And I think the absence of fatherhood is a hugely underappreciated phenomenon in our social ills.
And this kid, not only did he not have a dad, he really didn't have much of a mom, according to the reports. The mom, according to the grandmother, was on drugs and was no longer even in the picture. He didn't get along with her. He was living with the grandmother. So, he had dropped out of school. We saw a soundbite with his grandfather being like, oh, you can't tell them what to do. Kids today. It's like, no, you can. You can. When they're a minor, you can force them to go to school, or you can seek help and you can understand he's withdrawing from society and you can monitor his online behavior and so on. And that was the news just over the weekend, that he did, in addition to this timeline we're now getting about what happened with the police. There is a social media app called Yubo, Yubo. And I had never heard of this, but apparently it's based in Paris. And sure enough, Andrew, we heard from the FBI after the Buffalo shooting that the vast majority of school shooters or mass shooters do telegraph their intentions beforehand. And the news as we went into the Memorial Day weekend was, 30 minutes before he shot his grandmother, he was like, I'm going to shoot my grandma. Okay, I just shot my grandma. And then I'm going to go do a school shooting. And then it was over. No, it was much more extensive than that. He apparently went onto this website. He was telling girls on the website he was going to rape them. He showed off a rifle he had purchased. He threatened to shoot up schools in live streams. And many of the users reported him. There was one woman, last name Robbins, 19 years old, said he verbally threatened to break down her door and rape and murder her after she rebuffed his sexual advances. She reported him to Yubo several times, she says, and blocked him, but continued seeing his live streams. Another girl, Hannah, 18, from Canada, said she reported him too to Yubo in early April after he threatened to shoot up her school and rape and kill her and her mother during one live stream session. I'm not saying it's Yubo's fault, but we don't have a big system to collect all the red flags as they pop up, be it on Yubo, be it from the school that sees the dropout come, be it from his friends at Wendy's who said he was inappropriate there and making troubling remarks. You know, there's just no way to capture it in such a large country.
And the other thing is that online, of course, you add the number of people with a million different avatars, a million different names, and a huge amount of anonymity. And I don't know what would be required for us to be able to find these things, but I'm sure it's doable at some level. And we should have better ways in which we can identify this. And social media companies should take responsibility. I mean, it's not Yubo's fault. It's no one's fault but the shooter. But if Yubo had been told of this and never did anything, just one call to the FBI would have helped.
Right.
Who knows what we could have avoided? And that seems to be something that social media companies, again, so many major companies seem to think their only goal and their only motive is to make money. And it is to make money and to help please their shareholders. But we're also civic entities. We're all citizens. And I think it's a terrible thing that major companies do not feel in any way responsible for the social peace of their own societies. It's as if they exist in some weird world of cyberspace where they don't acknowledge that they also have responsibilities as well as rights.
Black Rifle Coffee Company is a veteran-founded company serving premium coffee to people who love America. They develop their explosive roast profiles with the same mission focus learned as military members serving this great country of ours. Black Rifle Coffee imports high-quality coffee beans from Colombia and Brazil, and they roast them 5 days a week at their facilities here in Manchester, Tennessee, and Salt Lake City, Utah, which means you get the freshest coffee no matter where you live. Enjoy the awesome packaging and the unique flavors like Silencer Smooth, Lava Panther, and all of them sound so cool and so delicious, which they are. I can attest to that firsthand. The best way to enjoy Black Rifle's freedom-filled coffee is with the Black Rifle Coffee Club. If you join the club, you get your brew of choice roasted, packaged, and shipped free to your door on your schedule. You don't even have to worry about it. Not only do you save a trip to the store, but you receive special discounted pricing on roasts. You gain access to exclusive products, partner discounts, and you get to be part of the coolest club on the planet. And you get their cool mugs, too. Literally a win-win scenario. You can buy it all at blackriflecoffee.com. Use the code MK at checkout for 20% off your purchase and your first coffee club order. That's blackriflecoffee.com/MK. Use the code MK on checkout. Black Rifle Coffee is America's coffee. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.